Have you ever said, I'm only going to have one cookie, but once you taste it, you immediately want more and more, and you just feel out of control, like you can't stop yourself? So maybe that's pizza, desserts, or your favorite foods, and it's just this feeling that you can't stop. So this is what I'm going to talk about in this episode today, especially just when it feels impossible to resist. And I'm going to talk about how you can begin creating a healthier relationship with food. So if you struggle with overeating, emotional eating, or feeling frustrated that you know what to do but you can't seem to do it, then this episode is going to help you understand what's really going on. Hey friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 podcast. I'm Michelle, mom of 4, military wife, personal trainer, and life coach with my doctorate in physical therapy. Over the years, I've learned that getting healthy is about so much more than food and exercise. It's about the habits we build, the way we think, and the choices we make every day. This podcast is for women who are ready to stop starting over and create changes that actually last. Together, we'll explore how to build healthy habits, strengthen our mindset, and become the woman we want to be. We'll talk about everything from sustainable weight loss and strength training to emotional health, confidence, boundaries, and living a more intentional life. No magic pill here, just practical tools and encouragement to help you create lasting change. So lace up those shoes and let's get moving. So first, I want you guys to realize that it's more than just the food. So the fact that you enjoy food doesn't mean something is wrong with you. So food is designed to be enjoyable, and also our marketing and our food companies make our processed food more addicting than what it should be, right? The food companies add fat, sugar, and salt to our processed foods, and this makes us want it more. The same thing when we go out to eat. Sometimes things taste better when we go out to eat because they have extra fat, sugar, salt added to them. So it's not bad to enjoy food or want food or feel pleasure from foods. It's really that food companies have made this go a wire. And some people, I hear these thoughts. If I were stronger, I wouldn't want this. If I had more discipline, I could just stop. Something's wrong with me. I can't control myself. And that thought pattern actually makes things worse and increases that struggle. Because, right, we can still have food there that is good, and we can choose not to eat it. So what happens is there's different things going in our brain that lead to us eating or not eating something. So I want you to differentiate between the desire and the action. And this is where we can start to shift our thinking. So we don't want to eliminate the desire for food because we need food. Food is to nourish our body and to give us energy, right? So we also have to look at food differently and what the purpose of food is. Most of us have an abundance of food around us. But, right, sometimes our brain can still act like we're not going to have enough food and we need to store up and we just need to keep eating this. But for most of us, we have an abundance of food around. And we can eat at any time we want, and we can eat more than we actually need. So we're not going to eliminate a desire like I am never, ever going to want cookies again. But we do want to shift how we're looking at food and how we're thinking about it. So one piece in there is taking some time to just reflect on what do you think the purpose of food is? Right? So that might be food is to nourish our bodies. It's to feed us. It's to give us energy. And then look at how you, in your life right now, what is the purpose of food in your life right now? When you think about the past week, all the different times you ate, what was the purpose of the eating you did? Was it really to nourish your body? Was it out of convenience? Was it out of cravings? What was that? And is there a discrepancy between those two? And how can you start to shift that? So that is a mindset, a deeper work piece, that if those are off between what you know the purpose of food is and how the purpose of food is showing up in your life, then we have to sort of bring that to the light. right? Because we just go on autopilot. Our subconscious just runs the show and we don't think about these things. So that's one piece I want you to work on. The second piece is just a simple minute pause. So when you notice that you have an intense desire for something, just pause, right? Because when we have this intense desire, it can sort of put us into fight or flight in our brain. And then we lose that prefrontal cortex, which is the front part of our brain that does our higher thinking. And we just go into the emotional part of our brain. So we have to pause. So when we have that intense desire, craving, or we're just going for another cookie, we have to create a pause and break it up. And just notice and acknowledge it, like, wow, I really have a strong desire for this right now. Or like, oh, wow, I just like grabbed another cookie and I didn't realize it. And then get curious. Think about, what am I feeling? What thoughts am I having? Am I hungry? Am I stressed? Am I tired? Am I using this food as a reward? Can go back to, am I using this food as the purpose that food should be? And really just take a minute or a little bit longer if you need it. And where you can get clear in your brain, right? Where you can get out of that emotional part of your brain, because we don't want to make decisions based on our emotions. We need to bring calm to it. And then we need to put on the thinking part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, and make decisions from there. So sometimes that urge or that craving or that desire will change. Sometimes it doesn't. But if you can do this first part of just pausing and noticing, you're going to start to have more success. And then when you do that deeper work, you can really become intentional about what is specifically going on for you and how do you want to change that and how do you want to work with that. That piece is different for everybody. So especially doing this deeper part is a piece that people miss, because our brains, we really just go on autopilot. I don't know what the true numbers are, but I've heard how we are acting and how we live out is like 80 to 90% subconscious. Like we're just doing things, only 10% or whatever that percent is we're like fully conscious, fully aware, right? We have these habits and these routines we do, like, right? We see a spider. Some of us might swat and stomp on it. We have just these reactions that come and are coming out of our subconscious, but we have all this stuff going on deeper that we need to realize what is going on so that we can make decisions from that thinking part of the brain, not the emotional part of our brain, and not just those automatic patterns that we've had. So lots of people will think that they have to find the perfect diet to be successful, or have someone tell them exactly what they need to eat. But often the real work comes from understanding the patterns that are going on in your life. Why does it feel hard to resist something, right? We're having some thoughts that create that resistance. What thoughts are showing up in that moment? What emotions am I feeling? What do you believe about yourself or the reasons that you overeat or eat when you're not hungry? And these are all pieces that I work on in coaching, and it's really different for everybody. And I think that's why a lot of times, diets and programs will fail. It's this cookie cutter thing. And a lot of diets and things like that don't even touch on what is going on with that person. It doesn't touch on what their schedule is, what their family life looks like, how their thoughts and emotions are showing up, right? Those patterns of dealing with emotions that they learned from a child. Because that's where we can start to make a difference for the lasting change, for that sustainable change. Because I don't want people to follow a diet or to work with me and make some changes, but it's not really something that they can stick with. We want something that's going to last. We really want that internal change so we can do things differently. And I think it's so interesting when I am working more in like a health coach type setting with someone. And right, we're working on this deeper work. And a lot of this deeper work rolls over to other areas of our lives, to our relationships, right? We might be triggered or do these things naturally in relationships. And when we can use these same tools, we notice difference in relationship. We might show up at work differently. So a lot of these pieces connect in our life as a whole. So if you're listening and thinking, this is me, I don't know what to do exactly. I get a little lost in doing some of this deeper work, or I'm just on autopilot and I can never seem to actually do a pause or actually know what's going on, then you might benefit from some of this deeper work from coaching. So many women that I work with, they don't need another meal plan. They really need support in understanding what is going on in their thoughts, their mindset, their emotions, their patterns, their habits that keep pulling them back, that they haven't been able to create this lasting change. So through my health and life coaching, I work on helping people create healthier habits, improving their relationship with food, reducing stress eating, building confidence so that they can trust themselves again. And sometimes we also work on relationships with other people, other things in life that are bringing up emotions or struggles that, right, sometimes if we have those struggles in other areas of our life, we take that out and we eat more food or we don't get up and work out. So it's important to have these other pieces in our life also working well and have tools for those other pieces of our life so that we have the time and the energy to also take care of our health. So I encourage you that if you are feeling a little stuck and you want some more consistency and really something that will help to create more lasting change, set up a free health coaching call with me. There will be a link down below. It's about a 25-minute call, and we're just going to go through what's going on with you, your goals, your struggles, what could be that next piece that could shift for you, and see if we're a fit. It's a no pressure call. And just as always, I offer 10% off for military, police, and those frontline workers. So I encourage you this week to start to pause when you are going to grab something to eat that you don't need and you're just going on autopilot. Take that minute pause and see what comes up for you. And feel free to share in my Facebook group, Healthy Beyond 40. I would love to hear from you and would love that the Facebook group can just be a community where we really support and encourage each other. All right, friends, have a good week.